Welcome to Manifest the Big Stuff, your intentional manifesting tune-up, where you learn cutting-edge ways to take advantage of new paradigms from quantum physics, and join me in using them to manifest your most important desires. Today's exciting episode continues my journey up my emotional reference chart as I work my belief-raising process on a still painfully absent desire, my next book. The same belief-raising process which forms the foundation for my first 7 books. Today, I'm going to share exactly why manifesting is both truly miraculous and also rather mundane. I'm also going to reveal how manifesting a better version of reality is a process split 50-50 between vibrational alignment and taking action. And you won't want to miss it when I demonstrate in exact detail how one tick up my emotional reference chart manifested a tangibly better version of reality, even though I was still on a negative emotional perspective. I'm Greg Kuhn, the Law of Attraction science guy, author of the life-changing Why Quantum Physicists book series, and your host. Thank you for walking with me in real time on my latest journey up my emotional reference chart. I'm excited to share that journey with you. So let's get going. In this episode, I'm continuing to take you with me in real time as I write my way up my emotional reference chart on my journey to raise my beliefs into alignment with my desires as I work my belief-raising process again on a painfully absent desire, manifesting my next book. I want to begin today by discussing something that's on the forefront of my mind right now, manifesting as miraculous and mundane. Miraculous defined as manifesting divine power, and mundane defined as of this earthly world rather than a heavenly or spiritual one. First, let's look at the miraculous of manifesting, vibrationally aligning yourself with your desires. Vibrationally aligning yourself is the miraculous part of manifesting, because doing it allows you divine power, the power to make your own weather. Vibrationally aligning yourself is 50% of manifesting a more pleasing version of reality. It isn't the act of manifesting. Vibrationally aligning yourself doesn't manifest your desires for you. You still need to do that. The act of manifesting your desired version of reality, in fact, is the other 50%. You're the actor. But vibrationally aligning yourself makes the act of manifesting your desired version of reality as downhill for you as is possible. Vibrationally aligning yourself sets the stage for you before you go on. It fills your swimming pool with water before you jump in. It creates the best environment for you to manifest your desire. Thus, it makes manifesting your desired reality as likely as possible. You still need to be intentional about the play you're going to perform, but with vibrational alignment, the stage will be set properly for it. You still need to be intentional about the strokes you'll swim, but with vibrational alignment, the water will be ideal for them. Vibrationally aligning yourself sets the stage the way you want it. It fills the pool with water you pick out. Why wouldn't you take advantage of the opportunity to choose how your stage gets set, to pick the water that fills your pool? Acting and swimming can be challenging enough. Don't make them any harder. There are many ways you can align yourself vibrationally with your desires. Here's what I do. Each day, I journal myself into vibrational alignment with my desires. I focus on the opportunity afforded me in each moment today to be present and intentional about the reality I'm manifesting. And I focus on the decision I'm privileged to make in each moment today, whether or not I will be a fully present, intentional manifester of my reality. My objective in my morning journal isn't to pump myself up, yet those opportunities I write about are given so generously that happens sometimes. You should practice aligning yourself vibrationally with your desires. Not doing it, it's like always returning half your paycheck to your employer. Regarding a practice of vibrational alignment, a good rule of thumb to follow is this. Remember, as clean as taking a shower gets you, it just doesn't last, right? Which is why showers are recommended daily. Treat vibrational alignment the same way. And, as you know from the last 2 episodes of Manifest the Big Stuff, for desires that are painfully and repeatedly absent, I use my belief-raising process. Because your reality is a reflection of your beliefs, repeatedly manifesting displeasing versions of it signals you that your beliefs are incompatible with your desires. You will always notice parts of your reality that are regularly displeasing because as you are manifesting your desires are growing. Your understanding of what you're capable of manifesting and experiencing grows. Even highly successful people will continually experience painful parts of their reality as their desires outgrow the beliefs which have led them to manifest their current success. This is not a bug. It's a feature of being human. It is a continuous invitation and opportunity to take an adventurous journey of growing your beliefs into alignment with new, grander desires. Desires which reflect your growing confidence in your self-worth and your capabilities. You should practice my belief-raising process too. Like me, no matter how successful you are, you have desires right now that you, by all rights, ought to be manifesting. But that isn't happening, at least not the way you truly want. It's not because you're incompetent, unworthy, incapable, or inadequate. Of course, there are undoubtedly new and necessary skills and perspectives you will need to master and adopt in order to manifest those desires. But you can do all that. One step at a time, you can do your best to learn how to do almost anything you need to. Just like me, you need to grow your beliefs into alignment in these instances. You might be initially discouraged to recognize this need to work my belief-raising process. But you will probably soon remember that this journey is what we came here to do, to dream as big as we dare. Look back 2 episodes ago to the episode called Even Better Than I Originally Desired, and you'll see that I've laid out my belief-raising process in 5 steps you can follow right now. And you should definitely be using my books to guide you as well. Search for Greg Kuhn on Amazon. You'll see all 8 of them. If you're new to the series, I recommend you start with How Quantum Physicists Build New Beliefs. As noted a moment ago, there will always be desires, as long as we're alive, that we will not be able to manifest without raising our beliefs into alignment with them. And I need to note here that Positive affirmations do not raise your beliefs into alignment. They create emotional states that are high on my emotional reference chart, so high that they represent a quantum leap into positivity in areas of your life where your reality is consistently undesirable for you. A quantum leap so high that they make you feel good, but too high, too big a quantum leap for your subconscious to believe you really feel that way. And your subconscious has to believe you really feel a certain way before it will allow changes to your beliefs. So, simply use positive affirmations like I do to get yourself back on track. They're great for getting you back on track. But use my belief raising process when you want or need to change your beliefs. The following mantra is a good rule of thumb for when to use positive affirmations. It's true that positive affirmations are good at getting you back on track. Just remember that you have to have been on a track in the first place for you to get back onto it. For parts of your reality where you are usually as successful as you like, but seem to have slid off track, use positive affirmations. For parts of your reality where you simply aren't usually on the track you really want, use my belief raising process. And now, the mundane of manifesting. When the stage is set, it's time for the actor to go on. When the pool has been filled, it's time for the swimmer to get in the water. When you've aligned yourself vibrationally, it's time to intentionally manifest your reality. This is the mundane aspect of manifesting. Mundane meaning of this earthly world rather than a heavenly or spiritual one. Mundane because here on this earthly world, in three-dimensional time-space, this is where you manifest your version of reality every moment you're alive. In fact, it's the only place you can manifest your version of reality. Furthermore, when it comes to manifesting your version of reality here on this earthly world, you only have one decision to make. Will you manifest it by default, or will you manifest it more intentionally? Manifesting your reality by default, maintaining the status quo, is a good choice for successful parts of your reality, parts that regularly please you. Manifesting displeasing parts of your reality more intentionally, however, is the right choice when you're repeatedly experiencing that pain, especially when it seems unnecessary for it to be so painful, or even painful at all sometimes. Being more intentional is the act of manifesting your reality differently. It's the actor acting, the swimmer swimming, and the manifester manifesting. One of the most powerful aspects of being human is that you can always manifest your reality more intentionally. There is always room for finding better guidance, for improving your form, and for giving better effort to follow that form. Anytime you are displeased by your reality, those options are available to you. Throughout Manifest the Big Stuff, I've introduced you to a variety of intentional manifesting techniques. You can think of them as methods of acting upon the stage you set by vibrationally aligning yourself, or ways of swimming in the pool you filled. I use them every day to more intentionally manifest a pleasing version of reality. They are all based on new paradigms from quantum physics. I've talked about all these techniques a lot on Manifest the Big Stuff, and I'll be writing about them in book number 8 and beyond. Techniques like following form, giving your best effort, using my penny experiment, finding your coach, satisfying your critics, making a Mount Rushmore of manifesting, acting as the CEO of you, and creating non-local or flow states are all very powerful ways to manifest your desired version of reality. Regarding my current use of my belief-raising process, which I began talking about in the last episode of Manifest the Big Stuff called Immediately Improve Your Reality Deliberately, I'm writing my way up the emotional reference chart regarding my desire to write my next book, book number 8. As I shared last week, I began the process at the emotional perspective of worry and nervousness. And presently, I've reached the emotional perspective of introspection and contemplation. Each emotional perspective on my emotional reference chart is only slightly more aligned with your desired version of reality than the previous one. But each tick up is a little more empowering, involving you a little more straightforwardly and productively in the mundane parts of manifesting your desire here on this earthly world. The slight improvement of each emotional perspective is, of course, by design. So your subconscious will allow it entry, will allow each new emotional perspective to influence your amygdala and grow your beliefs, little by little, step by step. My emotional reference chart has 23 emotional perspectives on it, listed in ascending order from negative and unaligned to positive and aligned. Download it for free right now by going to my website, whyquantumphysicists.com. The first 10 perspectives on my emotional reference chart are starkly negative. Only the final 10 on the chart would be considered positive, and only the last 5 would be considered catalysts to manifest important new things. In fact, looking at some of the emotional states on the chart, like anxiety, blame, pessimism, for example, it can be hard to imagine how they could represent improvement or growth. But every time I work my belief-raising process, I am always surprised by one or more emotional states. Surprised at how much more aligned it is with my desires than I expected. Because I couldn't imagine, see, or understand my desire that way from my previous emotional perspectives. Take the emotional perspective of apathy and indifference. I'm not saying this is what apathy and indifference will mean for you when you use my belief-raising process. It might not change your reality this way, but here's what it did for me recently on this time up the emotional reference chart. When I wrote about my desire to write my next book, from the emotional perspective of indifference and apathy, it served as an unexpected palate cleanser, a reset button, a clean slate. And that new perspective was actually pleasing. Here's what I'm talking about. Indifference means lack of interest or concern. Apathy means lack of interest, concern, or enthusiasm. Even though I've written from this emotional perspective before, on previous trips up the emotional reference chart, I hesitated when I wrote those definitions down. I'm supposed to adopt a lack of interest and a lack of concern about my new book? I'm supposed to cultivate a lack of enthusiasm about it? But it didn't take long to begin writing about how much interest and concern I'd had for quite a while in this part of my reality, and how much pain that level of interest and concern had caused me, particularly since I'm not writing like I thought I would. I'm not motivated to write. I'm not having a downstream experience with this desire at all. I decided to let go of the pressure that I was putting on my next book to make me who and what I wanted to be. To let go of making my next book responsible for things it isn't responsible for, like me being happy, accomplished, important, worthwhile, and being successful in my newly full-time career as the law of attraction science guy. I pulled the focus away from how I wanted my next book to make me who and what I wanted to be, and away from who and what not manifesting that desire was making me. And once I pulled my focus from those things, indifference and apathy became that palate cleanser, because it gave me permission to focus instead on what I am doing. It prodded me to perform a sober, practical, and non-judgmental review of my form and my efforts to follow it in this area of my life. I asked myself, what form am I following to manifest this part of my reality the way I really want? And how can I improve my form? Also, am I giving my best effort to follow form in this area of my life? And how can I give a better effort to follow form? The beauty of the palate cleansing that indifference and apathy provided me is that improving your form and your effort to follow it is all you can ever do anyway. Doing that is you grabbing the reins and taking control of the one and only thing you will ever have complete control over: the form you're following and your efforts to follow it. Indifference and apathy was far from being aligned with my desires to manifest my next book. In fact, it's not even a positive emotional perspective, but it actually allowed me to manifest a much more aligned version of my reality immediately. Not what I truly desire, but a reality improved beyond what I was imagining when I first looked up the definition of those words, illustrating once again how each tick up the emotional reference chart allows you to manifest a better version of your desire, to see and experience improvements right from the start and every step after. And no, once again, I am not going to end this podcast by saying, and now everything is fixed. It's awesome. I've manifested my next book. I'm only on the emotional perspective of introspection and contemplation currently, after all. I wouldn't want to manifest it from here. But I am manifesting a better version of it than when I started. And those improvements will continue as I move up the chart. As I discussed in a previous episode called Do Not Try to Manifest the Reality You Truly Desire, my goal isn't to manifest the exact reality I want today anyway. That shouldn't be your goal either. Don't get me wrong, I'm striving toward that outcome, leaning in that direction by giving my best effort to follow good form. But because there are so many factors outside your control which influence your reality, that goal of perfection is usually a setup for disappointment and frustration. Rather, my goal today is to manifest my reality more intentionally, because that way my reality will be as aligned with my desires for me today as is possible. And now, my quantum tip. A brief, powerful takeaway that you can employ in your life right now. Coincidence is a term to describe a pleasing manifestation of reality that you didn't know you were ready to have. A version of reality you didn't know your beliefs were aligned enough to manifest. The best way to manifest coincidences is to remind yourself early and often that you are doing better than you're feeling. Remind yourself of that, especially when you've got painful feelings. That statement is always true because your feelings do not manifest your reality. Thus, even amid painful feelings, you can still manifest more pleasing versions of reality. Thank you for allowing me to be of value to you today. Please recommend Manifest the Big Stuff to someone who would also enjoy it. And also, please remember to help us stay in contact, you and I, by downloading a free copy of my life-changing foundational book, How Reversing 7 Words Can Change Your Life. Come to my website right now and download it, whyquantumphysicists.com. I will only use your email to stay in touch with you about manifesting. I love spending this time together. Let's do it again very soon.